Today we're doing a pregnancy yoga class to fix and prevent sciatica and low back pain. Of course, it will help your whole body feel good as well. The sciatic nerve is the longest nerve in your body, and often during pregnancy it can get pinched, causing pain from your lower back radiating down the back of your leg. It can also cause numbness or tingling. We will be doing some stretches to take the pressure off the sciatic nerve, as well as exercises to help stabilize the pelvis. If you're doing this yoga class when it is first published, I am live in the comments, so feel free to come and say hi or ask any questions. If you find that when you sit right on your mat, your lower back rounds out, you can sit on a block or a blanket or a pillow, or come down to the mat. Let's start with some gentle rib circles. We can move our ribs around. Let's go the other way. Good. Sitting up tall again. On an exhale, pull your baby in. Let's round out in a seated cat pose, tucking your chin. And then inhale, slight arch, looking up. Exhale, rounding out. Inhale, ripple your spine, looking up. Good. Let's look side to side. Now we can look up and down. Sitting up tall, let's place our hands in front of us. We can turn our fingers in, and then leading with our elbows, let's just slightly lean forward. Not too deeply here. You can take any movement that feels good. Good, let's come up. And we can take our legs apart. Let's give ourselves a little bit of a boost here, and we can reach over to the right. Keeping your feet flexed. Exhale, pull your baby in, coming up. Other side. Moving back and forth. Let's cross our legs the other way. Ground through your sit bones and then gently lean forward. Coming back up, we can move to all fours. Let's find a neutral spine here, and you can pull your baby in, slightly tuck your pelvis so you're not dumping through your lower back. And we'll start some hip circles. You can make them as big as feels good. Let's go the other way. Good, coming back to all fours. Let's lift opposite arm and leg. We can hold here, breathe. On your next exhale, pull your baby in. We're gonna tap down, lifting back up again. Exhale, tap, lift. Exhale, you can tap down. Extend, feel energy coming out of your toes and your fingers, releasing down. We can switch to the other side. Exhale, pull your baby in, tapping down. Last one, extend. Good, releasing down. Let's circle out our knee, circling out our hip. We can lift it to the side, back, and down. Let's go the other way. Not letting your hips rock back and forth at all. Good, let's switch to the other side. Bring your knee out to the side, back and down. Go in the other direction. Coming down, good. Let's sit back and stretch out through our glute. You can walk your hands forward. We can come back through all fours, shifting to the other side. Good, gently releasing. Let's take a quick sip of water. Let's find our way up to a standing position. We can turn our hips to the right. We'll step into a high lunge. Squaring our hips right to the side. You may need your left hip to move back slightly, raising our hands up. Let's come up onto the ball of our back foot and then reach our heel down for a nice calf stretch. We can raise it up and down a few times. Good, now just releasing your heel down, taking a couple of breaths here, shoulders roll down your back. We can straighten our front leg and step our back foot slightly in. Raise opposite arm as foot is forward, and then with length in our spine, let's hinge at our hips, reaching forward. Good, on an exhale, coming up, and then we'll reach forward again, being careful not to overstretch in pregnancy, just a gentle stretch. If you need a little micro bend in your front knee, feel free to bend. Coming up, reaching one more time. Good, easing up. Let's turn to face the front, goddess pose. Knees press out toward the side and even toward the back of the room behind you, opening up through your chest. Breathe here. Good. Inhale, come up. Let's turn to face our left now, ensuring that our feet are on railroad tracks, not one behind the other. We can come into our high lunge. Releasing your heel down and up in the back. Now staying steady, steady breaths. Bringing our back foot forward, coming into pyramid, squaring your hips again. Opposite arm comes up, reaching forward. Pulling your baby in, coming up, and moving with your breath. Coming up one last time, we can turn towards the front, stepping our feet together. You can find your balance on your left foot, and we'll bring our right knee up. We can grab onto our knee, open up to the side, keeping your hips pointed towards the front. If it's available, you can take your left arm out to the side, gazing past your hand. Beautiful, bringing your hand back in, knee forward. We can switch to the other side. Opening up, and option to put your right hand out. If your hand is out, bringing it back in again. Bring your knee to the front, releasing down. So I have two different options here. We can move from all fours into downward dog, or if downward dog doesn't feel good, you can find a wall or a chair and move into an L stretch with the wall or a chair. If you're moving into downward dog, let's tuck our toes, lifting our hips into the air. And we can move our hips back and forth. So if you are facing the left-hand side of your room, you're going to take your foot farthest away from your screen. You can center the other foot, and then between your first and second toe, place it on the back of your heel for a nice stretch. Gently release. You can let that leg float up behind, and then we'll come into all fours. And you can bring your back leg again, moving into pigeon pose, or if you're on a chair for modification, you can do figure four on a chair or on the floor. You can also place a blanket or a block underneath your hip here. Let's sit up tall, and then if it feels good, you can lower your body forward. When you're ready, placing your hands on the ground, you can press yourself back up. And let's come out of our stretch a little bit, and we can turn towards the front for a side Janu Shirshasana. Let's reach up and over. If it's available to you, you can take your bottom hand off, reaching towards the top corner of the room. On your next exhale, pull your baby in, coming up. We can bring our feet to Baddha Konasana, letting your knees flop open. Again, you can sit on a pillow or a block here. And let's slightly hinge forward. Releasing through your pelvic floor and your hips. Inhale, coming up. Let's bring both legs out in front for staff pose. And then you can take your left leg up, and then we're going to move it out to the side so that you can bring your knee down for internal rotation. So let's bring your knee down. Good. Both feet are flexed. And let's bring it up again. We can turn around behind us for a gentle stretch this way. Let's move back and forth. Internal rotation. Stretch through your glute. One last time. Good. We can find our way into downward dog or your L stretch over your chair. Tucking your toes. pressing into your stretch. Let's rock our hips back and forth again. Taking your back foot again and between your first and second toe, pressing down on your heel. Good, letting that leg float up behind and then coming through for pigeon or figure four on your chair. Walking that back leg back, finding lots of length in that back leg. Adjusting so your hips are square. Again, you can have a pillow or a blanket under your front hip. And if it feels good, leaning forward. When you're ready, pressing your hands into the ground, we can open our hips up to the front. Reaching up and over our left leg now. Option to reach both hands up. Good. Exhale, pull your baby in. Come on up. Moving back to Baddha Konasana. Finding length in your spine. Slight hinge forward, placing your hands on the ground again, leading with your elbows if you can. Gently releasing out, coming back to staff pose. Sitting tall, feet are flexed. Let's bring up our right leg this time, bringing it out, moving to internal rotation. Turning around behind, stretching out through your glute. Back and forth. Good, gently release. Let's come back to all fours. We're gonna do some strengthening exercises here. We're gonna lift into a fire hydrant. We can lift up and down, keeping your hips steady. Last one on this side. Let's switch to the other side. One more here. Good, let's move into some big hip circles. Going the other way. Coming back to a neutral spine, exhale, cat. We can even shift our weight slightly back towards our heels. Inhale, slight arch, look up. Exhale, rounding out. Back to a neutral spine. We'll move into our Savasana here, or final resting pose. If you have a bolster or pillows, you can prop up your leg. We'll lower down on our side. So if you have sciatica hurting you on one side more than the other, you can lower down on the side that is not hurting you as much. It's also really helpful to make sure that your knee is stacked at the same height as your hip, as well as your ankle. If your knee or your ankle are going down, it can pull and compress on your sciatic nerve. So taking a minute to get comfortable. You can place your hand on your belly, connect with your baby. Let's take a big inhale in through our nose and sigh out. Again. Scan your body, relaxing all your muscles. Feel heavy on the ground. You can continue to rest here or finish up with me. Namaste to you. Namaste to the babies. I hope you're feeling good after that class. And again, if you're watching this as this video is published, I'm going to hang out in the chat for a little while if you want to say hi or ask any questions. Let me know how your low back and sciatica are feeling, and if you have anything that has really helped you, I would love if you share it with our community in the comments below.